Suppose you are given a Java program that consists of one or more than one class, and you are required to trace the program and find its output. So what to do? Here is an example that consists of two classes. This is the first class and this is the second class. You know that in Java, if you define a class, then it must be in a separate file. So therefore, we have two files, one for my class, and the file name is myclass.java, and the second file is called myclass.testapp, and the file name is myclass.testapp.java. But which class is our main class? In other words, where is our main program? Look for the class that has the main method. Now this class does not have main method, but this class has the main method. So therefore, this is going to be our main program. In other words, the program will start in line number 4 inside main method. Now to trace a program that has classes and you are going to create objects from these classes, then you need to represent each object by a box. So you need to grab a paper and pencil or a pen to draw such boxes for each object you create from a class. Before that, you need first to draw a box for the output, and second, we need to look at the definition for the class myClass. We need to know what is the data inside and what are the methods inside this class. Notice that myClass has two integers for data. The first integer is called a and its initial value is equal to 4. And the second integer is b and its initial value is equal to 31. This class has only two methods. The first method is called alpha and it is a void method. That means it does not retain any value. And the second method is called beta and it retains an integer. That means it's going to retain a value when it is called by an object. The first method does not have any input parameter. The second method has one input parameter, which is an integer called c. Let us find out what each method is doing on the data inside the class. The first method, it multiplies the first integer a by 2 and it divides the second integer b by 10. The second method, whenever it is given an input parameter c, it's going to add it to the current value of a and b, and the result is retained as a return value for the method when it is called by the object. So now we know what is the content of the class. It has two integers and two methods. Now let us trace the program starting from line number 4 in our main program. To trace a program that creates objects from a classes, we are going to represent each object by a box. So whenever we create an object from a class, we are going to represent it by a box and we are going to write its data inside this box. So let us do that. Now in line number 4, this is our first line in our program. What do we have? We have my class m1 equal new my class. So here we are creating an object that is called m1 from my class. Where is my class? This is my class. So this is our first object. So what you have to do, since we have an object, then you need to represent it by a box. So we will draw a box. And inside this box, we are going to draw also two boxes, one for A and one for B. So for A, this is the first box. And for B, this is the second box. We label the first box inside the bigger box A, and the second one is B. And we need to point to this box by the variable or the object name, which is called m1. So this is m1 as an object. It is represented by a box, and since it's an object of my class and we already know inside my class we have two integers, so each integer will be represented by also another box, and we need to write their initial values. A is equal to 4 and B is equal to 31. Next we go to line 5. Now we are done with line number 4. Now in line number 5, we are also creating another object which is called m2 from the same class. So we will do the same. We will represent it by a box. So we will draw the box for M2. We're going to label it M2. And we are going to draw two boxes inside, one for A and one for B. This is for A and this is for B. The current value of A and B, similar to M1, the value of A is 4 and the value of B is 31. Now notice, both of them have variables A and B. They have the same names, but they exist in different objects, so they represent different values. So 4 inside this A is not the same as 4 inside this A, because this A is inside M2 and this A is inside M1. So they represent different variables. Now this is the status for M1 and this is the status for M2 when we are at line number 5. So when we say status, it means the current value of the data inside the object. So the status for M1 is that A is equal to 4, B is equal to 31. And the status of M2 is that A is equal to 4 and B is equal to 31. Next, we will go to line number 6. In line number 6, as you can see, we are calling a method. So here we are saying calling. So whenever we refer to a method inside a class, then we say we are calling this method. Now this box for M1, you can imagine that it has inside also the two methods alpha and beta. And for M2, similarly, you can imagine that it has also two methods. One is called alpha and beta. So in both objects, there is alpha and beta, and there is alpha and beta. But this statement, we are calling the method alpha for the object M1. So we are referring to this object. And where is the definition for alpha? This is the definition of alpha. As we said before, what does it do? It multiplies A by 2 and divides B by 10. But if you want to see the current value of A, don't look into the data here in the definition, because these are the initial values and we have changed them. You have to look into their current values from the diagram, from the box of the object. Now for M1, the current value of A is 4 and the current value of B is 31. And since this is the first time we are calling alpha, so the data of A and B was not changed or were not changed before. So what does this method is going to do? It will multiply A by 2. So this multiplied by 2 will be equal to 8, and it will divide 31 by 10. And you know that you are dividing integer by integer, so 31 over 10 supposed to be 31.1, but since we are dealing with integers, so it's going to be equal to 3. So the current value of B will change to 3. So this is what the method alpha has done to the data of the object M1. Now when we go to the next line, in the next line, which is line number 7, we are changing the value of A inside M2. Why we are saying changing? Because we are using the assignment statement. So we are saving a value inside it. So when we say M2.A, where is M2.A? This is M2 and this is A. So we are referring to this variable. So what we are saving inside M2.A? We are saving the value of M1.A. So for M2.A, which is this one, we are taking the value of M1.A and saving it inside A. But we have minus here. So this minus is the decrement operator. As you remember, what does it do? It decrements the value of A by 1. Since minus is after the variable, that means we are going to use the value of A, put it inside M2.A, then we will decrement it by 1. So let us do it. Now what is the value of M1.A? Where is M1? This is M1. And where is .A? This is A. So the value is 8. So this value 8 will be saved into M2.A. So where is M2.A? This is M2.A. So we will remove 4 and will be replaced by 8, which is the value of M1.A. At the same time, or after that, the value of M1.A will be decreased by 1. So where is M1.A? This is M1.A. So that means the current value of A will not be 8 anymore. It will be equal to 7. So let us just erase that one and put the current value, which is 7. And let us erase this one and replace it by 3. And let us remove this value and put A. And put 8. And then this is the status for M1 and M2 whenever we execute line 7. Now let's go to line 8. In line 8, what we are doing, we are also changing the value of M2.b. Where is M2.b? This is M2 and this is B, so we are changing this value. So what is the new value for M2.b? It is the return value when we call the method beta2 for M1. So this is M1. And where is beta? This is the definition for beta. So we are calling the method beta of M1. So that means we are calling this method. And as you see that the input parameter is 2. So that means when we call this method, the value of C will be equal to 2 as an input parameter. So here two things will happen. First, we are calling the method m1.beta2. The return value is saved into m2.b. So let us find out what is the value of m1.beta2, and then after we find this value, we will save it into m2.b. So m1, this is m1, beta, so here we have beta, 2 is supplied as input parameter, so this method is adding a plus b plus c. We know the value of c, which is equal to 2. Now what is the value of a and b? Again, don't look for the values from the class definition, because probably they have changed, and this is what we have done. As you see here, they have changed. So you have to look for the current values of a and b from the box that represents the object. Since we are calling beta 2 of m1, so this is the object, so the value of a is equal to 7, the value of b is equal to 3, and the value of c is equal to 2. So that means this method is going to add 7 plus 3 plus 2 and will return it as a return value which is equal to 12. Now this return value will come here. Where it will be saved? It will be saved into m2.b. Where is m2.b? This is m2.b. So 12 will replace 31, so the value of b will be equal to 12. This is after executing line 8. Now for line 9, we are calling a method alpha of m2. This is m2, so we are calling alpha for m2. That means we are calling alpha over this data. So what does it do again? It will multiply a by 2 and divide b by 10. But again, don't look for the values from the class definition. You have to look at it from the box of this object. So it will multiply a by 2. So the current value will change from 8 into 16. And it will divide b by 10. And the value of b is equal to 12. So this value will change from 12, it will be equal to 1, because 12 over 10 is 1.2. And remember, we are looking for the integer part, which is equal to 1. So this is the status for M1 and M2 at line number 9. Now for line number 10 is the output. So at line number 10, this is the first output line. We have a println. So what will be printed, as you can see, it consists of 4 parts. We have a message, m1.a, we have another message, and m1.p. So this will be printed on the output screen. So this is the output. So we have m1 colon a equal to. And what will be printed after that? It will be printed the value of a for m1. So where is m1? This is m1. And what is the value of a? The value of a is 7. So 7 will be printed on the output screen. If we go to the next part, we are printing comma b equal to. So it will be comma b equal to. And at the end, we are printing m1.b. Where is m1.b? This is m1 and this is b. So it's equal to 3. So 3 will be printed on the output screen. Finally, for line 11, we also have an output. So what is inside this output? We are printing a message, then we are printing m2.a, then we are printing another message and m2.b. So this message is printed m2 colon a equal to. Now for m2.a, this is m2, this is a, so it's equal to 16, comma, b equal to for this message, and m2.b, this is m2 and this is b, which is equal to 1, and 1 will be printed on the output screen.